Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
Jim,
Arnold
how are you,
Schwarzenegger.
Sit.
Welcome.
You're on the radio right now.
Do you know Kevin Pollak?
Oh, no.
He goes, oh, no.
No.
They didn't tell you that I would be here?
Things are going to go down from here.
I didn't believe Kevin Pollak knew Arnold Schwarzenegger that well until this very moment.
You're live on the radio right now, by the way.
Yes.
We have done so many movies together
That's right.
that they finally said in Hollywood, that's it.
No more.
No more.
Yeah.
We have seen it all.
How's it going?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Roland, for helping the world champion bodybuilder push his chair in.
Exactly.
There's Jimmy to your left here,
Hello, sir. How are you? I was hoping you'd recognize me.
Good,
and
good.
Opie across from you.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to
No, I
meet
don't
you.
get that. I can't
And
do
that's
that.
Sam, who's pestering you with the headphones. He doesn't
Right.
need them. He can hear us.
Exactly, yeah.
Sorry, they're treating you like you don't know what you're doing. It's really
And we also got Henry Hobson in studio as well, who directed the movie Maggie.
Maggie.
That Arnold Schwarzenegger
tonight's
starring in.
premiere or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I like the trailer. Looked really good. Like zombie movies, we've seen a lot of them. We've seen The Walking Dead, but this one seemed to be a lot more based in like the emotion of a father and daughter, as opposed to just a bunch of monsters running around.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the way of looking at the project is zombie movies like growing up. It's like we're seeing the aftermath of the event rather than the bite, the furious, like horrible side of it. We're seeing what happens to families, what happens to communities, what happens to individuals after the event, and really charting the interactions between a father and a daughter.
Well, it's a 2-week incubation period too, whereas like The Walking Dead, it's like in the same episode you're bit and then you turn.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little longer than that, but it really is. It's about just watching and seeing a family.
What happens to an actual family?
Yeah. It's more like a real version of the event, and that's what makes it more terrifying.
What-
You
yeah.
suddenly realize.
And you shot in New Orleans?
Yeah, and it's, as Henry was saying, that creates the drama because you know that in the beginning, you just see scars and you see kind
Right.
of physically things changing in the body. But then as time goes on, the person, in week 4 and 5, the person starts getting hungry for meat and for blood. And from then on, when you have this person in a house, it becomes very dangerous. And she herself becomes very concerned of what she may do to me.
Right.
And of course, in the movie, you see the whole family move out, and the kids move out, and my wife moves out, and they all totally disagree with me to have my daughter at home because they want her to be at quarantine and to be in the hospital and to kind of let's get her out of here.
But it's played for real instead
Totally
of...
played for real.
Yeah.
It's what made it to me very attractive is that we don't see just thousands of zombies running around and attacking, and it's the war of the humans against the zombies, and
Right.
you see the slaughter and
We've
all
seen
this
it.
kind of thing. We've seen
Yeah.
all that. This one focuses in on one family and one situation. It's kind of like when you watch the Olympics and you see the thousands of athletes, and it doesn't really mean much, but then they focus in on some of the athletes and
Right.
their life story and their struggle when they train and how they get to become a champion. That's what then becomes interesting watching the Olympics. The same is kind of here. You really focus in on the family and all the dramas, and and I think there's something that I probably wouldn't have even done 20, 30 years ago. I couldn't have related to it, but now having kids myself, I mean, it's the worst nightmare in a way, I think, for a parent.
Right.
To see your child die and and lose your child, and this is exactly the drama that I go through as a father in this movie.
How hard was it to get back into this movie making schedule after 8 years of politics?
Well, it was, I jumped kind of into politics very quickly. I remember in 2003, I was just finishing off promoting Terminator 3. And literally like 3 days later, I decided that I'm going to go and jump into the governor's race and then announce it then at the night show. So it was, just as quick I went back into the movie business. When I was finished with the governorship after 7 years, I jumped right back in, started doing movies again, and I really have enjoyed it thoroughly. And especially, it's when you have movies like this come along that were on a blacklist, which means that it's a movie that is voted as a spectacular story, but it hasn't been made yet. And so when Henry came to me and presented to me the the idea, and then showed me album of pictures of what the look will be of the movie. And we talked about the story. I got hooked on this one, and this is now kind of like that was my fourth movie after I finished the governorship, and then after that I did Terminator 5, and which is coming out this summer. So it's the things have gone really well.
When you get into politics, like Obama was, he was a community kind of activist. He didn't have a tremendous amount of years, and neither did you. What was different about it than you thought? I think, like with him, do you think that he meant to be transparent, like he was sincere, and then got into politics and like, wow, this is just not possible?
Who are we talking about?
Obama, because you both had you didn't have 20-year political careers before, so I'm saying you can kind of relate to that.
Well, everyone has a different story. You have to ask him, what was his story. But I mean, I just know that I just thought that California was mismanaged, and that we can do better than that. And, that even though I had maybe a lack of experience, but I had not a lack of will to serve the people. And the problem in politics is a lot of times that politicians rather serve their party rather than the people. And that's where the big problem comes in. So there was a lot of fighting in Sacramento. Nothing got done. At a huge deficit, and we didn't move forward with the infrastructure and with all those things. So I felt like I should jump in and run, and I was very happy that I did that.
When world politics had been a hobby of yours for a long, long time, I retell the story on the set of End of Days. On a regular basis, crew members would come up with their friends and relatives and introduce them. Arnold, I hope you don't mind. This is my nephew. So one day I'm standing on the set talking to Arnold, and a crew member comes up and says, "This is my niece. She lives in Tel Aviv." And without missing a beat, you just said, they just had the mayoral race, and you named all three candidates and who won and why the other two didn't win. And I thought, the Tel Aviv mayoral race? How could that be at the ready? Unless it was just something that you loved for a long, long time.
Well, I also just happened to be over there, and I go over there every so often, and Rabbi Haya is a good friend of mine who started building this Museum of Tolerance in Tel Aviv, and I always supported him and supported his cause, which I thought was very important, especially coming from Austria, which had a horrible history when it comes to prejudice and and all that. And so I thought that I should really be out there pushing, that the next generation is going to think differently and be more inclusive and more tolerant, and we put the past behind us, and the future will be brighter, and where we get along and where we do things together and all this. So I've been a big supporter of the Holland of the Rabbi Haya's Tolerance Museum in Beverly Hills and in other places around the world.
And you're not afraid to go against your own party either, which is great, because like you said, too many people serve the party.
Refreshing.
It is refreshing. Like Indiana, you were critical of what they just tried to do in Indiana.
Well, again, it doesn't serve the people what they've done, what they try to do. Mm-hmm. We have the question always is this the best for the people, or is this really the best just for the base of your party? If it is Democrats or Republicans, there is the far right and there's the far left. And as Eisenhower said, politics is like the road. The center is drivable, and the left and the right represents the gutter. And this is exactly the way it is in politics. It's exactly right. And so I always believe we got to get everyone back into the center, where we work together, the two parties. That's what it was meant to be, where we negotiate and kind of meet in the middle, rather than being to the extreme right or left.
You think they will ever figure it out in Washington? Because it doesn't seem like they want to work together anytime soon.
Well, sometimes the people are very much, sometimes to the right and to the left, and the local politicians are this way, Washington is this way, and so you got to always make an effort, to bring people back to the center. That's the important thing, and because in the end we are serving the people, and that's exactly also in our business, in the movie business. I mean, it's you're doing the movie to try to do the best possible job to interpret the script, but in the end you always have to think about, and Henry can tell you that when you direct, you have to think about, how would this play, not only in America, how would this play worldwide? Are we telling a story here that is understood in Africa? Is this a story that can also be very easily understood in the Middle East or in Asian countries or in Australia. So that's, it's always about how do you, the work that you do is for the people. It's not for yourself.
Shining a light on humanity.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So that's what movies are about. If it's action movies or if it's dramas like this one, this was actually the first drama that I've done, and it was really great to do it with Henry because he was so passionate about the movie, and it was great to get sucked into this whole world, this zombie world, and this drama, the story, and so I think that this is the most human story that I've ever done, the most human character I've ever played, and the most human kind of a zombie movie.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the humanity of it, and I think what I found really interesting is being able to shine a light on, in every single one of your other projects, you've been victorious and you've won. And I think with Maggie, you're shining a light on the real humanity of this is a family and they've lost. They are losing. They're in the process of a daughter who's become infectious. She's going to become a problem. She's going to become, everyone's going to become terrified of her. And so I think that's a completely new thing. And what really excited me is it's showing that real side.
How about first couple of days of giving direction to Arnold? How was that for you?
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Was there anything he did that you didn't want him to do that you went, well, I guess that's how it's going to go?
What was the first time like when you had to say, in a way, you had to find a way to say, not like that, how about like this? Because every director and actor has that moment where you have to collaborate. Mm-hmm. So what was that first one like, or the first couple maybe?
The first couple of times, I mean, I think Arnold has his core people around him, and I think what I found was if you can relay in German, which I don't speak, through one of your people, it softens it somehow.
A little bit, like you have to open the door. You're not kicking it over.
Yeah.
You're very careful.
But I
Baby steps.
always tell directors when I work with them the first time that it's extremely important that they feel free to tell me anything that is wrong with the scene or with my acting. I don't mind that at all because, I've been coached in bodybuilding, I've been coached in politics, in giving public speeches, and all of those things. You need help. You need guidance. You need someone to move you in the right direction because you yourself don't always know what is right.
We have our instincts, but you want the director to be the captain.
Absolutely, and he has to look. I look at it as when I do a scene, I look at it as the scene. Mm-hmm. He has to look at it, how does the scene fit together to the last scene, and how does it fit together so that we're telling the story, that it gets the right rhythm going, and that the intensity goes up slowly, and, all of those things a director has to think about, where actors don't think about always. You try to do your best job at the scene, but he has to kind of like really fine-tune it, and so that's what is always important, that the director knows that they can say whatever they want, and, I don't care if someone says, Arnold, this really sucked. I mean, let's try to do a different approach.
Well, you care a little.
That probably bother you a little if they phrase it like that.
Just a little.
Well, we're doing scenes out of order.
Look, when you've been in politics for 7 years, you're thick skin.
You're used to hearing that.
We're doing little tiny bits out of order. The actors don't keep the whole picture in their mind. They really don't. And a lot of times, if you don't have a director who's very on point, having the big picture in mind, and there is not enough guidance, we'll stray off the path real easy because it is out of sequence little bits and pieces that you have to focus very, very intently on just those 90 seconds and make them perfect.
I actually want to do that, though. The next time I work with a director, I want to tell him, like, don't be afraid to direct me.
Yeah, you
tell
should.
Me what.
You should, Jimmy.
That sounds like because then they'll think
everyone is scared of you.
Yes, well, no, maybe they're not.
It'll sound like you know what the hell you're talking about.
That would make me seem like they're like, this guy's a bigger deal than we thought he was.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
But did that help you, that attitude?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was an immediate trust, and we'd been chatting for a while before and working together before. And I've made Arnold and Abigail Breslin, who's also in the
film.
her.
Oh, but I love her.
Great.
I'd made them a book with all my thoughts on every scene within the film.
Wow.
So he could look at the scene and go, this is the director's thoughts, knowing, and also a visual graph of like, here is your arc. You're going to be up here, down here, up here.
Had you ever done that before?
No.
Yeah.
No. And
that's an extensive amount of work that very few directors do.
It's a shorthand so that we had a short production. It's a very low budget film.
What was the budget? How long was the shoot?
5 weeks.
Wow. 5 weeks.
Budget was like
You've never done a movie.
$8 million, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or 7.
A little less. You've never done a movie in 5 weeks, Arnold.
It's low.
It's low, yeah. Well, officially it was 8. Maybe $1.5 million went to the producers.
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't get paid, that's for sure.
You've never shot a film in as little as 5 weeks ever, not even close.
The first Terminator movie was $6.5 million. But that was in 1984, so adjusted, there would be more than the $8 million or the $7 million, whatever the budget was.
5 weeks.
It was the first time I've done a small movie like that. But like I said, I wouldn't have been able to do it maybe 20, 30 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to relate to it. I was then, too much into making money. Today, I've made enough money, so to me, I can now take projects like that and just say, look, don't pay me anything. I just want to do the project, and if there's a profit on the end, pay me then.
Give me a little taste.
Because it doesn't matter, but there was the days where I wanted to climb up that ladder. I wanted to make $1 million, then I wanted to make 5, then 10, and then there was this competition with Sly and me, where he made 20, and I said, I got to make 20, and then I made 20, then 25, and then he said, I got to make 25. So we were climbing up to, to the top until we became the highest paid actors. But then all of a sudden, then they say, okay, enough of that. We have done now that. It's like there's a time where you say, I want to have the biggest muscles, or I want to do the biggest, most bench press, or something like that. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't mean anything anymore to you. You say, no, I just want to have a healthy, great body, and I want to be fit. And you move on from that ego thing. And the same is also with this. It's really interesting when you do a project just because it's a great project, and you love the story, and you can, kind of relate to it, and you kind of think about it. I mean, I had nightmares when I shot the movie about what it would be like really to have a daughter. Imagine you have a daughter coming home, and she's dying in 6 weeks, and in the most excruciating pain, and going through the most unbelievable things, and she may start biting people in the family, and in the middle of the night she's on your throat and stuff like that. So I mean, all this drama plays out. So to me, that was very appealing.
And how does the movie end?
For that, you have to go and pay the $1.25 for the ticket. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not the 70s anymore.
But how does it end?
So when you read the script and that was what made you want to do it, you said, this is something I can kind of sink my teeth into?
Yeah, but it was my agent.
Henry saying, no, not so much.
Kivas came to me several times, and he just loved this script. And so many times we always complain about agents that they just always just hang there and say, yeah, this is a great project, and yeah, you should do this. And you always, like in most of the times in my career, I always get in my own jobs. They came to me and said, here's a script, and then the agent would just do a little commentary.
Answer the phone.
Script. In this case, it was quite different. Kivas, who is from CIA, he really pushed and pushed and pushed. He fell in love with this script a long time ago, and he kept pushing. And so, and I read it, and then I read it again, and I said to myself, this is really a great script. I should do that, because I had 2 other obligations in the meantime, so we did not know when I should do that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it became clear that this should be the next project. After the other 2 movies are done, we should do this as the next project. And then I started getting into it, and then I started meeting with Henry, and I started getting obsessed about this project.
It's amazing, isn't it, when the agents get that proactive and actually want to push better material your way? It just doesn't happen that often at any level, by the way.
You're absolutely right, Kevin. It doesn't happen that often, and we have many times are disappointed about agents and all this. But in this case, I have to say that this guy has been really good with nurturing scripts and introducing me to directors and having a different approach rather than just looking at every script and say, okay, let's do this. This is money for me. I get my 10% and I'm going home and I'm going to be rich and all that. So that's not their thinking. And
I only met Kivas recently. It was at Sundance.
That's right.
Actually.
Yeah. Right.
I thought he was. There's so few agents that have a real personality just because they're so caught up in the business.
Right.
And our friend Bruce, he represents, and just talking about a real relationship and friendship between agent and client. I promise you, it just doesn't exist. To have genuine friendships. I mean, there's a part of you that doesn't want to get emotionally involved because it's business anyways. And then every now and then, one of these guys will come along who actually gives a shit, and it makes you feel comfortable. Like
I just want an agent that remembers my name. That's all I want. Is when I call, I don't go, who? Oh, I guess we do handle you. That must be nice.
How nice though, to have someone champion your material like that, Henry.
Absolutely.
Did you write the script as well? I'm
No,
sorry, I didn't mean to
It was
assume
written by
that.
John Scott 3, not the third. John Scott 3.
Okay.
And
What do you mean by that?
That's
His name is John Scott 3?
yes. Yeah.
Because he's...
The third?
Nope.
No, he's not the third. No.
So is 3 his last name?
No.
Nope.
No, that's just how he goes.
I'm
How
so
he goes.
glad that you're explaining the
I
situation.
don't get it.
Because I never got it myself.
John Scott 3?
Yeah, three,
He works,
not the
he
third.
works for NASA.
Don't ever
He's
say
a,
third.
he's
No, not the
a
third. No,
NASA
never.
engineer
No, you
who
can
wrote
say
the
that.
script.
He's a NASA engineer who wrote the script.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure he's part robot.
Still not enough to accept the name.
No, not
Sorry.
enough to accept the name.
Nope.
Well,
Well, he has an astronaut name though, John Scott, right?
Yeah, that's a man's name.
That's
It
like
is.
a man's name.
Yeah, if you drop the 3, I'm in.
Right.
But he's smart because people talk about him. Like
Exactly.
we're all discussing this guy at great length. Like John Scott 3. What does that
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
That's
You
what I
don't
need to
forget
get in
his
my
name.
name.
You don't forget his name.
No.
I got a question about the Incredible Hulk. Did you really audition for that? And,
No.
And Lou Ferrigno,
Originally.
and they gave it to Lou Ferrigno over you?
Originally,
No, there was a guy by the name of Tannenbaum,
Okay.
who was the head of television at Universal, who approached me, and I knew him pretty well, this guy, who was a really terrific producer and studio head and leader of this television division. And he talked to me about the Hulk, but not of me doing it. Because he knew right away that I was going after an acting career. I've just done Pumping Iron and I've done Stay Hungry, and I was very well on my way to get up there and become a leading man. So kind of my dream was that, not to play someone that doesn't talk
Right.
in a TV show. But he was hoping that I would help him to identify huge men. And so we talked about it at the studio, and I gave him then 3 names. And one of the 3 names was Lou Ferrigno. And he interviewed all 3, and he called me back then 2 weeks later, and he says, we're going with this guy, Lou Ferrigno. He was fantastic. He says he understood the character, and I think because he had a little speech problem himself, he could therefore act out much better the thing he understands, that role probably better. And he was a nice guy. I can work with him, and we introduced him to the director and all this stuff. So I was very excited that I could help them to find the right guy. But it was not one versus the other. By any means, yeah.
Did you really think after 30 years? Funny, you shot another Terminator. Like after all these years, you'd still have to put that type of a physically grueling demand on yourself to do a film?
Well, it's great in a way because it's kind of like it really wakes you up. Because I remember when I grew up in Austria, when people retired at the age of 65, they were sitting there on a bench outside their farm with a cane in a hand, and they were schmoozing all day long and, talking about the good old days. And it was kind of over. It was kind of retirement now. Let's just talk about the past. And, the grandchildren were running around and all this. But here we are, I feel like I'm doing exactly the same things as I did 30 years ago and 40 years ago, and you taking on the same challenges. You have to train for it. You have to work out every day, because the idea was for me to get the same kind of a body shape and to gain the weight back, which took me 2 months or so, to get this extra weight back.
How much did you have to put back on?
Another 10 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
But I heard they had fun in the movie with the idea of the Terminator had aged itself.
Well, because
and you poke a little fun
my
at it.
face is
Sure.
obviously looking different. The hair is different and everything like that. So that was okay because the Terminator is human tissue
Right.
over metal and the skeleton, right?
So you had fun with it.
So we had fun with that because the thing was that everyone is going through this time travel. So they always look the same. So it doesn't matter if they were in 1984, if they were in 2017 or 2029. If they did through time travel, they were very quickly
Right.
moving from one place to the from one time to the next. The Terminator couldn't because of the exposure of the metal. He could not use the time machine, so therefore he had to go the slow way, which is the regular way. And so that he got older, but the others didn't.
Yeah.
So that was really the idea.
Had a sense of humor about
yeah,
it.
exactly. You
Good.
have to.
Yeah.
You're one of the only guys that could pull off that too. Like a lot of times in action movies, they try to give the star like a cute line, and it never worked. You're the only guy I could think of that never compromised the integrity of the role by saying something that, like, I need a vacation in T2 when you're
Right.
after you're all beat up. Like
Right.
that's one of my favorite moments in the movie.
Yeah.
Are you sick of all the people that imitate you?
No.
No?
No, because
You find it flattering? 'Cause-
remember one thing that Henry and I we talked about that when I first came over here, and they said they want to be a leading man in movies, they said it won't happen.
Right.
Because you have this overly developed body, and that's not in the 70s now. It's Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino and Woody Allen. Those are the bodies that are the sex symbols today. And this is not.
Can you imagine?
Wait, someone thought people would want to sleep with Woody Allen before you?
I'm telling you that these were really the hot, guys in the 70s.
He was sexy. Come on.
And nothing wrong with that. But I just felt like if I'm unique and I can carve a niche out for myself. And but they also complained about that that no one could pronounce my name, and then that was a big problem, and definitely my accent. They said no one ever became a leading man in America if they didn't if they had an accent, and so from that, then to go and to do Conan the Barbarian, where all of a sudden the director said, if we wouldn't have had Schwarzenegger, we would have had to build one. Because I was really the only one that was in the acting profession at that time that had a really muscular body and could play Conan.
Right.
So here was a guy that said the body was absolutely necessary. And then at the Terminator, and then Jim Cameron said if Schwarzenegger wouldn't have had that accent and talked like a machine, it would have never worked, the Terminator character.
Wow.
So there was like two things that were like liabilities that all of a sudden became an asset. And
Right.
so to me, there was a huge turnaround. Then to have actually make the accent so hip that people are imitating it on television and on radio, and you hear it all the time. To me, I think it's an honor to be kind of imitated, and the people trying to do the German accent and all those things. So it's fun.
Do you think there's going to be a constitutional amendment for you to run for president? I know you were.
Wouldn't that be great?
Do you really? you really do want to run, don't you?
No, I think it would be a great idea that if you think about running, that you could, that you wouldn't just there's not this roadblock there. But I always say that everything that I have accomplished in my career is because of America. Every single thing, my bodybuilding career, my movie career, the political career, my family and everything, the millions and millions of dollars that I have made in my life and everything, all those opportunities are because of America. So I'm not going to complain about the only job that I can't do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think much more about all the great things that I could do. Mm-hmm. And only in America you could have a career like that. The little shyster from Austria comes over here, farm boy.
Oh, no, it's unbelievable.
And then there you are, and you
Right.
can make this kind of movies, travel the world and meet the most interesting people and be in politics and run, the sixth largest economy in the world and all of this stuff. It's unbelievable, and also to do all this charitable work that I'm doing. And Kevin, of course, has been a fantastic champion in helping us with the after-school program.
Yeah.
So the question is, are you going to be back
Please.
at the poker tournament, which is this Saturday?
It's coming up, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
After-school programs are extremely important, obviously.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine they're taking them away.
They died on the vine, so the
Right.
fact that there's a charity to try to create these programs
to bring them
is
back
remarkable.
is terrific.
Well, I've been fighting for 25 years for after-school programs, and it has been always a battle. And the battle is because people, or I should say children,
Right.
don't have representatives. In the same way as the oil companies have the lobbyists, and the teachers have the teachers union, and they're very powerful lobbyists, and everyone has their lobbyists, and not the kids.
Where's the lobbyists for the children?
Exactly, and so they always get the short end of the stick. So whenever they want to redo a budget, or whenever they want to grab money from somewhere to put it into something else that they want,
Right.
they grab it from the kids, and they grab it from after-school program. And the Obama administration now is doing the same thing. They've tried it several times, and Congress has tried it now several times to take out that money. And so we are always there in Washington lobbying to keep that money in, and also to continuously do fundraising for after-school programs,
Right.
because this is money very wisely spent.
very important.
Usually, if you don't
Because
raise it,
for every dollar you spend on an after-school program, you save $5 to $9 down the line, because those kids don't get in trouble on
Right.
the streets
Yeah.
with juvenile crime, teenage pregnancy, gangs, violence, drugs, alcohol, all of those things that happen between 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've always been involved in that, and I've always tried to be a champion for the kids.
Wonderful.
We have to wrap.
Yeah,
this
we
up.
got to wrap up. I can't wait to see Maggie.
Yeah, promote the if you want to
Yeah.
see it. It is limited theaters and video on demand on May 8th. and the trailer looked awesome. And is it premiering tonight?
Tonight,
part of the
Tribeca.
At Tribeca, and it really looks great. And I know it's a role that you're really happy with, and one that you wanted to do. And
Absolutely.
And congratulations to you, Henry.
Thank you very much.
This is a great
Bravo, Henry.
opportunity.
And I'm available if there's a sequel.
It was Henry's first movie, right?
First
And
one.
so now, of course, he's getting a lot of phone calls.
Oh, good
a
for
lot
you,
of
Henry.
attention, which I'm very happy
And
about.
is this the first film you cried in?
It could easily be, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, because in the Terminator,
real
it's like he understood why they could cry, but it was something he couldn't do.
Yeah.
He couldn't do, exactly.
See?
But now
I
he's
remember.
crying. He's crying in
I
Maggie.
remember.
Is that our exclusive? He cries in Maggie. I like that. We got an exclusive today. Wonderful.
Right back.
Yeah, Arnold,
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. Thank you for stopping
Thank
by.
you very much for having
very
us.
much.
It's always great to see you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Today's show will be available later today on Sirius XM On Demand. Stick around. The after show is up next.
We're back with Opie and Jim.
Somebody on Twitter is really making me laugh.
Yeah, what
they
do you-
said John Scott 3, Jim Norton 0. Makes sense.
Nice.
Zinger.
That was fun, man.
Right?
Yeah, that was cool.
I was just relieved he remembered me.
He sold me on this movie Maggie, too. I really want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that we've seen that angle
Can I see it tonight, you
on the
think?
zombie thing. I'll bet we could make that happen.
Yeah?
Yeah,
But I'm supposed to hang out with you tonight.
I know, technically. Well, you could go see that and then show up to my Q&A, though.
No, I'm
Now
not.
that you've seen the film.
No, I'm going to support you tonight there,
All right.
Kevin Pollak.
All right.
He was quite nice.
Misery Loves Comedy. Check the iTunes.
Right. Yeah, I guess we'll just wrap it up. We came back.
Get us
just
back
to-
up there.
To answer the question on Twitter, someone said, "Did I get a hug?" I did not hug him.
I did.
But again, he had
record.
security guys, and I didn't want to have a really bad moment where you
You
try.
guys were great. I hope you enjoyed that
It was very
because
fun.
you guys
fun.
did your show. You know, you didn't adapt. You did your show. You rose to the occasion in every way, shape, or form. And I mean that as a fan, not as a witness.
Thank you. It was
All
quite
right.
enjoyable. But it was good that
appreciate
you were
that.
here. It helped to have one of Arnold's friends here.
Yeah, absolutely. And he does know you. The recognition was right there. Like, oh, bro, what did he say?
I felt bad for Sam.
funny.
That couldn't have been fun for him.
Why?
Sam, you all right with what happened?
I understand Kevin's got famous colleagues.
One guy.
Acknowledged.
One.
Yes.
One
One.
remembered me.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a nice picture of Arnold and the side of my turtle face.
I've got photos I'll send you. But when the two of you were
I
sitting
don't
next
really
to
need
each
it,
other.
to be honest with you.
All right.
Please send
I'll
them.
send them to Opie.
Email.
I just Instagrammed a photo of Arnold Schwarzenegger in studio.
How about
It was
that?
wonderful. All right, I think we're done for today.
Wasn't it weird to hear, though, a guy talking about, and legitimately talking about being the highest paid actor, and like him and Sly having that competition? It's like he was the biggest movie star in the world.
But it made sense that they had the competition.
Absolutely.
It's nice to hear him talk about it.
I loved how he talked about that.
Yeah. Sam and I compete for most kissable,
Well,
So far, Jim's winning, but I'm working on
but
it.
only by a little cheek.
Oh, you.
Piece of garbage. Shut up. Fucking pecker sucker. You hear what I said to him, though?
All right, you're ruining it. You're ruining it.
What, are you going to terminate everybody? He's fucking cracking up.
is today the day we can rub our boners on your leg?
No, that day's not going to come.
Well, in celebration of the Arnold
He won't,
Schwarzenegger
Sam has
interview.
said with the boners, he will not let us rub them
I don't
below
see
his
the
Why?
face.
connection between that and Arnold.
well,
It's
just,
there is no connection.
we're happy we got through the Arnold Schwarzenegger interview. It's a big day for us, so we want
It's a way to celebrate.
It's not gay. We just want to rub our boners on your
I didn't
leg.
accuse you of anything. I said it's not
Why
going
would
to
you let
happen.
it happen?
For various reasons.
What's name?
Top three.
Yeah, name three. I think it's the perfect day for us to rub our boners on your leg.
It may be, but I'm not.
Kevin, would you like to rub your boner on?
Not so much, but I'd like to see it.
But we're not
Top
doing
three reasons
we're-
why it's not a good idea.
We're
Rub
not
your
doing it.
pecker on him.
I mean, it's easy to say no.
We're not
What about
doing-
three reasons?
But there's things you do that doesn't mean it's gay.
Doesn't mean anything.
All right,
Right.
thank you.
I'll rub my boner on you. What the fudge?
I don't want you to do that.
Can we?
That's why.
Can we?
Sugar.
No, I just said that already.
But why?
Because I don't want you to. Because
You're scared you're gonna like it.
no, because I don't think we
that's
have that
not-
relationship. You haven't done anything to build our relationship to that level.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
it's just not there.
but so there is a possibility.
You don't rank.
I'm saying we have a work relationship, and if we were more
When you
personal,
finally get your own show in the next month or two.
I mean, obviously,
Then you would let us rub our
There's
boners on your
boners
leg?
rubbing then.
right? I
All
mean,
right, okay, that's fair
it's called a
enough.
negotiation
Okay,
tactic.
that's fair. No, I'm not. No, I don't want to be that guy. I'm just saying, if you could find it in your heart to let me and Jimmy rub our boners on your leg because you now have your own show, that would be nice on your part.
In a form of celebration for everybody.
Yeah,
thank you.
I don't want it to be part of the negotiations. My God,
That's big of you.
Thank you.
I'm at the erection.
Thank you, Sam Roberts.
Thank you guys for having me back on.
Yeah, have
Great
fun
to see you again.
Have fun with Ronnie today, doing the Unmasked.
Very excited about the Unmasked.
And we'll try to run it on our channel.
All right.
Down the road or whatever. We'll figure that out.
Please, wonderful.
And I'll see Baby Doll Kevin tonight.
And Jimmy's going to do the Q&A, and if Ope is feeling up to it, if the allergies are not devastating your being.
The Dayquil did pretty well. I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, I gotta go tonight. I really want to. So it's Misery. Loves Comedy, available on iTunes and in select theaters this Friday.
Right.
And you can get it at home, right?
Sure, you got the video.
I mean, not the iTunes, but I mean
video on demand. Every cable system in the country, and Amazon, of course. You know the way you do movies now.
You know what? I'm going to pay for it.
All right. I like the cut of your jib.
I'm going to do that tonight.
All right.
Or tomorrow. I'm going to actually pay, even if I don't watch it again.
Nope.
I'm just going to pay for it.
Nice.
Kevin's got to go.
Can I publicly thank E-Rock, too, for giving me a copy of Conan to get signed? I didn't have anything. That was very nice of him.
I panicked and didn't get mine signed. No, I don't care about signatures. I got a picture.
Yeah.
What?
Just throw it.
You got physical evidence that you stood next to the man. He was in your studio.
Yeah, he was
what
really
the hell
cool.
else? What's better than that?
Where are you going now?
I'm going up and down the halls.
He's doing a bunch of
it's
promotions.
the Tribeca Film Festival. They're running me. You know, what are you going to do?
I will see you tonight, buddy. And Kevin's movie, of course.
Guys. Thanks.
Misery Loves Comedy. And premieres tonight at Tribeca, where Lewis Black and I will be very smugly answering
Little
questions.
Q&A.
Little Q&A with the boys.
Nice.
After
Caroline from
Caroline Hirsch.
Caroline's on Broadway is doing she's the moderator.
Who I like very much.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow. I got some dates. Go to my website. Who cares? Go
Well,
and
Epics.
Maggie, May 8th.
And Epics, very important to get to work.
I should forget that.
Friday night at 10 o'clock on Epics.
Yeah.
What's the name of this one?
Contextually inadequate.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was going to call it Edgy as I Wanna Be.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't.
That's so cool.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yeah.
Kevin, a
Fucking
pleasure.
Sammy Brand, muffin.
Great to see you guys.
Next time.
Everybody's going to say that now.
Me and Rich Voss?
Yes,
in
next
studio?
time you and Rich Voss.
Great.
I think
Look forward to it.
I would enjoy that tension.
I look forward to
immensely.
it.
But I think in the end,
I think it's going to go better than you think.
No, I know it will.
Yeah.
It will.
I mean, I like to sit. Whatever. It
was great.
You guys would end up getting along.
As soon as Voss finds out Kevin's directing something, Voss is going to be nice as pie.
And did you mean that about me being in the next movie as maybe some little walk-on?
Yes.
He
Yes,
did,
I
right?
did.
He
I'm
meant
not going
that,
to
right?
throw that around.
Okay.
Well, he did ask.
And
We did both.
I want to apologize to listeners for the disappointment, for the lack of friction between Sam and I. That must have been disappointing to
always
them.
I was ready for it.
Now
Yeah.
we just.
Sam's always ready.
I'm always ready
Sam's
for
that
it.
type of guy.
That's what the people wanted. We don't.
It is what they want, so we're not going to pander.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe
Right.
next time.
Why give the audience what they want?
Exactly.
Yes, you would. I panicked.
Thanks, guys.
I wanted to slam Sam so bad I tripped on it. I couldn't think of anything. Wait, did we go to break or are we still here?
We're still here.
I panicked. I thought you went out, so I just
did. I made the motion, but then
It was the motion. I saw the
and
motion.
Eric just didn't for whatever reason.
Because he doesn't do that, so why would I spoil it?
Okay, no, we'll get him good. Go ahead, say that again, Sam. I'm gonna fucking nail you.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I think I said, why would we give the audience what they want?
Yeah, let us suck his pecker.